Okay, this week's discussion in chapter 5, what matters is the motive. I think the name of the chapter is really critical here because in thinking about the first part of the discussion where you're trying to differentiate the difference between telling a lie and misleading truth. I think the name of the chapter pretty much kind of sums that up. What we define you know, approach to morality where it's okay to do something if you can universally apply it, and you should treat humanity as an end, not a mere tool. um, I guess technically you could apply this because if if it's okay for people, obviously it wouldn't be okay. You couldn't universally apply people lying, but you could universally apply people bending the truth. And I guess that first part of this wouldn't be as difficult. But the second part where it says you treat humanity as an end, never as a tool. When you're telling a misleading truth, it implies that you have a motive. You have something you're trying to accomplish, whether it is changing someone's mind or leading them down a particular thought process that they wouldn't arrive on their own, or just outright just pushing forward your agenda, whatever the case might be. You're looking at that person as a mere tool, not necessarily. And I think if you look at both of these areas and categorically, and we're trying to compare them to see if uh, bending the truth or misleading truth could fall and still be considered moral based on these. I guess I would have to disagree. Not necessarily based on the fact that you cannot universally apply it, because you can, technically you can, but the fact that it would create an environment where humans would be treated as a mere tool. Basically, whatever information that I'm giving you, yes, it's truthful, but it's not there's a motive behind it. So that's something that I want you to be able to do. So that makes you a tool to whatever it is that I'm building, right? Whether it's I'm trying to construct an image of myself or whatever the case might be. Um, but it's an interesting comparison because when we say lie, we think of something that's not factual, right? But then you get into the realm of it's truth and lie, something you believe or not believe. Because if you don't believe something, regardless if you're factual or not, you can convince yourself that it's a lie. So that's a whole nother thing there. But the second part of the discussion, where the social construct, first of all, it would be entirely difficult. If we were to start a new word to say, let's create laws that everyone would agree on, we all know that it's difficult to get people to pick a movie. And that's just because of human nature. I think, especially in a country like America, it's unlike any country in the world where most other countries in the world are dominated by the people that originated from there. So a lot of the cultures, uh, a lot of the perspectives there are a little bit centralized around some ethnic group or around some religion. Whereas here, you've got the whole spectrum. So, but I do think the Ten Commandments, the Bill of Rights, those are good fundamental laws. But to actually get people to actually agree on it, like for instance, if you say, okay, let's have freedom of speech. Well, freedom of speech also include hate speech. So, freedom of speech also include me be able to say whatever I please to anyone, right? Regardless of how they might feel about it. But I think I would definitely stick to the basic fundamental, the core of the Constitution. I think that is going to be uh, very important. Now, everything else that comes around it, all the special interest laws and all these laws that are passed to benefit different corporate groups, that's where you will be a little bit on the edge about. But then again, on the flip side, regulation create jobs, right? Regulation sometimes hurt jobs, sometimes it create jobs. So it can kind of go both ways. But if you wanted to kind of build a new society, I think going back to John Locke and some of those old uh, philosophical approach of what it means to live in a civil society, what rights should be preserved. I think those will be key. Those will definitely be fundamental. But then after that, you kind of have to have a lot of gray area that allow people to kind of have maybe subgroups and come up with their own laws, as long as it's in line with the basic foundation that we have built as a society. And I guess that's the states versus the federal government. That's kind of how it's set up. So that's my take on it.